you never know who that person might be. Like, I'll do anything. What are you good at? What's that one thing that I can do today to be successful? And that's the best question you could formulate. Go do it.
Yo, welcome back, guys. You're now listening to the Winners Club podcast, the #1 business podcast coming out this year. We've been crushing it. This show is ultimately to show you guys how to be a boss at business. We share our success tips, real life business practices, mindset, anything you really need to become a boss in business. And we have no other than your host, Brian Tran here.
What's up, guys?
And #1 co-host in the world, PJ Padua, that is me. So we're going to have a fun episode right now. I want to ask the question, Brian, how do you create a good, lasting first impression with whoever you meet?
Okay. I think first, the #1 thing is that you have to look the part. And what I mean by that is that if you're at a formal event, you need to be wearing a suit.
Okay.
If you're you have to understand the demographic of who you're trying to approach or you're talking to. Now, I understand if you just kind of show up somewhere and you run into somebody that you want to talk to and you just come up to them and you don't have time to prepare. But this is more for people who are attending a conference or attending a meetup. Like, show up.
Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah.
Like, be presentable.
Before we go further, do you disregard people and they're like kind of bummy?
I would say no, because you never know who that person might be.
Yeah.
Like, half the time I'm bummy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wear the same white t-shirts,
Yeah.
the same black t-shirts. Whatever. I don't invest too much in clothes.
Yeah.
But that's because that's my day to day. But if I'm going to an event,
You do have a haircut though.
Every Friday, every Thursday,
Yeah,
Thursday.
That is part of looking the part. I mean, I read in the book Magic of Thinking Big, you don't have to spend a ton of money to look good. You get your hair cut, you buy a fresh $5 shirt, whatever,
You got to look clean.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you with that. I mean, I think it's not that somebody will completely disregard you, but there's going to be a small thought in your head. So if you could control that, why not just come presentable so they're not thinking that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not known,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be presentable, clean cut.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for business, right? Like, I get it. There's always going to be the exception. Some guys come up tattooed, saggy pants, and they're going to be able to make a lasting impression. Yeah, you are. You're going to be that dude that looked like a bum and came to me and wanted to get something out of me or become a friend of mine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or tap into my network.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, who are you?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think you could, anyone could be the exception. I mean, you don't have to be. But I think too, like, if you come in with, whatever, tattoos, this and that, and you're just super poised when you talk, I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, you have to. So looking the part's the first.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, what value do you bring?
Okay.
And that doesn't mean, and this is where I think some podcasts come up and say, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Like, for example, people say, like, you want to go up there and work for somebody for free.
Yeah.
But you still got to come at, like, some kind of value.
Yeah.
And so, for example, if I see somebody that I know, and I know what they do, I would try to see, okay, what can I do for them?
Yeah.
But if I don't know who they are, my first objective is to find, like, if it's a networking event, find out what their name is, what do they do, and then ask questions to figure out how I can add value.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay?
And you want to let them know also what you do.
Right.
A little bit. You know,
right.
you're not going to
Of
talk
course.
yourself up so high, but you need to let them know, like, hey, like, I real estate invest, I do this, or I own a VA company, right?
Yeah, for example, like the last real estate meetup, like, hey, what do you do? They're like, I'm a flipper. Oh, seriously, where at? They go, here, Inland Empire, or LA.
Yeah.
Dude, so hey, do you mind if I get deals down here? Can I call you and maybe just hand it off to you so you can close them out?
Yeah.
that's a form of value. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
You know what I mean? But if I just go, okay, let's say he says that, and I go, hey, dude, I'd love to come work for you for free.
Yeah.
Like I'll do anything. What are you good at?
Definitely.
Like my answer would be, well, what are you good at?
Yeah.
Like I'm here at a networking event. I'm not here to think, like to figure out like how can I like use you to help me. You see what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're adding stress to the other person.
Are you a good salesperson? Are you a good cold caller? Are you good at finding deals?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I get so many deals. I just want to know, would you be open to helping close some of these out if it's not in an area that I'm an expertise in?
Definitely. Yeah. So let me tell you guys what not to do. So we were at the event, same thing at the WealthCon event hosted by Ryan Panetta. There's a lot of people I met, but this one stuck out to me because I met this guy. It was a friend of a friend. He said, hey, meet this guy. His name's Brian. I was like, what's up, Brian? He's like, hey, PJ, what can I do for you? This is the first thing he said to me. And I was like, I was kind of dumbfounded because I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you do. I don't know who you are. I don't know what to give you, if anything. I don't know how you can help me.
I'm pretty hungry right now. Give me a hot dog and a hamburger and 2 Advils because my back was killing me.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Like at least ask me what I do first, and then you could have asked me. I would have been like, okay, well, tell me about yourself. But that's one way not to approach it, guys. So let's get a little bit maybe deeper. So how should someone like form these conversations, right? What do you think? Maybe small like role player, if anything.
I mean, that's so you go up, you introduce yourself, you figure out what they are, what they do. You obviously replicate or I don't know, whatever.
Reciprocate. How do we structure these conversations, right? How do you make a lasting conversation with somebody, and properly too?
Okay. First of all, don't be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Go up, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Figure out what the person name is.
Mm-hmm.
Find out what they do. Let them know a little bit about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I would ask is, I like to kind of ask like weird questions, like, "Hey, so, what kind of problems are you seeing right now in your business?"
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I'm talking to people, it's a little bit higher level, like, "Hey," or if it's the industry that I know about, I would ask them a little bit more specific question.
Yeah.
And especially since we were at WealthCon, and a lot of these people were real estate investors, flippers, wholesalers. I was actually able to ask a little bit more deeper questions, like, "Hey, question. I'm using this service right now for skip tracing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys using the same, or do you guys have another program that maybe you guys recommend?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because obviously people were there to help each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to ask what you want as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in the result, I got a company called Kind Skip Tracing, and it brought I'm saving like almost 12 cents a contact now.
Yeah, I mean,
multiply that by 1,000.
Yeah,
how much money am I saving? Right,
I mean, you're saving like 80%.
So anyway, that's how I made a lasting impression.
Okay,
and then I said, "Great, oh man, that's so awesome!" Like, hey, so we actually were able to go very deep.
Yeah,
and at the end of it, like, hey, this is really cool. Thank you for helping me out. Like, if I ever get any deals, can I send them to you down this way? Like, are you accepting that, or is there somebody I should send it to because I know you're the top dog? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and then we exchange numbers.
Yeah.
You see that? Now I have their contact. Hey, and then better yet, do you mind if I follow you on Instagram?
Yeah.
You exchange Instagram. Now these guys are seeing what I'm doing. They probably saw the live that we just did. I see what they're doing. Build instant connection. Instagram builds relationship.
You think everybody should always grab the
always
IG?
Grab the Instagram.
Always grab the IG.
Like some guys try to give me business cards. I threw them away.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I think I got 2. I lost them.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to text you guys. Like, hey, how's it going? How's your day?
Yeah.
But on Instagram, I don't have to. If I see something I like and I relate to, boom, I just DM you or message you.
Yeah, I mean, even like I got a couple phone numbers, and it was kind of like I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I like them. It's cool. It is come in handy, but Instagram is just perfect. I could contact you. I could see your life. I could see what you're about, and you could sell me off that.
That's right.
So always get the contact, guys. I want to go back to your question about, you said, if you want to get value, don't be afraid to ask questions. Is there a time, because I know you probably get asked questions all the time from other people, but do you, on the receiving side, ever feel like, oh, like this person's just trying to grab like value from me? Like, does it get annoying, or like, what do you think?
I mean, if I'm at a networking event, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it does get it. If you ask me some very basic questions, I will naturally like, okay, I'm ready to go to.
Yeah.
Else,
I get it for sure. So yeah, I think asking a good question, like you were just saying, right? Ask deep questions. Ask specific questions. Don't ask, how do I become successful, Brian?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you do?
Yeah, for sure.
Know?
So ask some real specific questions that can help you and be specific. Because a lot of these people who are big and know a lot, they don't want to ask these cookie cutter questions.
No. And like, just if you want to learn better, just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Do these TED Talks.
Yeah.
And it depends on the environment too. If it's quick, if it's like you can approach somebody,
yeah,
you know, you might be able to, you're not going to ask that many questions. And also another thing is sometimes like, don't be afraid to join a conversation, chime in at the right time, you know, like in a group setting, listen in.
Oh yeah. That's a good advice too. That's a good advice.
Just like at the Ryan Pineda event, there was so many people, so many groups.
Yeah.
I kind of just came in and say, hey, what's up, man? And it just kind of like listened in.
That is actually really good advice. Don't be afraid to be like the leech guys because I've done that a lot of times and I'm just pop in and usually 9 times out of 10, if they're cool people, they'll stop what they're doing. They'll be like, hey, how's it going? You know?
I think the other thing too, man, like a handshake is like the other thing. Firm handshake. I know that's not like a
doesn't mean as much more.
Doesn't mean as much anymore. But sometimes when people, man, don't shake me with a limp hand, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what the hell? And if you have sweaty palms, don't shake my hands, dude. Like dap me. Like, dude, I'd be like shaking people's hand. I'm like,
it's about to slip.
It's wet. It's so wet. You know what I mean? Like, give me a dap, man. Like, hey, what's up? That's okay now. COVID. You know, I think that's the cool thing about COVID. COVID allowed you to dap people.
Yeah. It's funny because like these little things, they really kind of matter when you're meeting people for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? Like the handshake. I mean, it's not going to make or break, but it's something people think about. Because I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, that was kind of weak, you know?
Yeah.
Or I was like, geez, like my arm's about to fall off because this guy was firm, you know?
Yeah. And I think also, like, to make a lasting impression, it's more about them than it is about you.
Yeah.
And so don't talk about you because, especially if you approach me, I don't want to, I mean, like, you kind of come here and unless I ask you, like, what do you do, man? Like, how's business going for you?
Yeah.
Don't just go and ramble because I'm going to be like,
yeah,
I'm going to go that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't ask, you know?
Yeah. I think people should learn how, because this is a skill that, you know, I'm always trying to improve on, especially that, you know, me and you have been going to a lot of networking events. It's something that I'm trying to work on. And I think you have to really read the conversation and know when it's time. For me, I always wait for like the connections to bring about like what I do.
Yeah.
You know, if there's, I don't just say it, just boom. So really read the conversation and see where you could transition into then introducing what you do and yourself. Because I think that's really important.
Yeah, and sometimes to make a lasting impression, it takes more than one impression.
That's 100% true, too.
You know?
Because, like, when we're out in the event, I mean, like, Carter and, like, the 10X guy, JR, like, seeing them for the second time, the relationship was just that much better, you know? So to
make a lasting impression, guys, you got to sometimes talk 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
Or in our case, that plus attending another event with those guys.
For sure.
Now it's like, oh, shoot, you were at the last event? Oh, man, what's up, bro? Like, you're serious. Like, this guy's serious. This guy's actually, like, here twice. Okay, let's see what he's about.
Yeah.
But that's how you do it. And people, I think, like, even one guy was asking me, like, yo, how do you know so many people here? Like, I was at the last event.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I didn't get to maybe have a deeper conversation.
Yeah.
But that second time around, you know, we did.
Yeah.
And we were able to, like, really chop it up and get a little bit more comfortable, right? Like, our shields a little bit more down.
Yeah.
I followed them on Instagram. We follow Carter. We follow all those guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, what? Like, tell me about why you decided to build that helipad, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's like, boom, it opened up a better conversation, a real conversation.
And he was just in the helicopter with Eric freaking yesterday.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Right.
I commented too. I was like, oh,
so it's like, dude.
And what do you say? What do you say about like these networking events and why you network? It's not to get an instant transaction at the first time, but it's over the long term. It's you have the network, you have the access, and you know potential deals or business or whatever it may be.
Whatever.
Right?
I mean, I'm not here to.
Whether if it's a friend too, like it's not about that first day. It's about the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a really big one too.
I mean, people always like, oh, what can I do for you? What can you do for me? bro, nothing.
Yeah.
Not yet. I don't know what it is. Let's just chop it up.
Yeah.
If you're cool, I'll follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, went to the event, and people were like, "Yo, I watched this, so I could talk about it. We can go deeper."
Yeah.
And I reciprocate. I did the same. I watched them. And I'm like, dude, we can go deeper.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think sometimes too, a good approach is like to even just be casual, be chill. You know, talk about the event. You know, talk about the weather. I could be wrong. You know, but it'll open up that door for the next time where it's like, all right, now let's talk real business. Like, we were just having fun.
Actually, you're right. The easiest way is sometimes, like, if you don't understand something at the conference, right, and you go out there and you say, hey, man, like, just curious, did you happen to catch Chris on the stage? Yeah. Hey, what did he mean by this? Did you get that part?
Yeah,
and you just talk about it. Now you have something in common because you guys had just attended this event. So, you know, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And then, like, dude, you got to just. And the other thing is, how you speak is also very important.
Yeah, I think so too.
Don't come off ghetto.
I do that by accident.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
in your own personal life. And look, I know a lot of ghetto people that do very well in business and they make a name for themselves and now they can continue. But no, I mean, like, I had to drop that habit because I grew up in Oakland, I grew up in San Leandro, and I talked, and you may still hear.
I mean, you still do. I hear it all the time.
I do, but at least there, I try to slow down. I try to pick better words, and I'm not saying high vocabulary. But just how do I say something? Do I say 100? I don't say 100, but
100%.
Unless I'm joking with you guys. But like, I made 100,000. Yeah. No, I made 100,000.
100,000.
Just like little stuff like that. People pick it up.
Yeah, I think also. Maybe, if you are someone like that who grew up, obviously in the Bay Area or whatever, you want to let it loose, I would say you have to see the other person. If they drop their guard and they're willing to go to that level, you could be that second person. But I wouldn't suggest anybody be the first person. Don't be the first person.
Yep.
I like that. Hey, man. So last question to wrap this up. You gave a lot of great tips, in my opinion, but it could be a little bit different to some people when it is a high-level person. So say we're going to this event and maybe Grant Cardone is there, maybe, Ryan Pineda is right there, or Andy Frisella, whoever it may be. What is your best advice for approaching high-level people like that?
So, I mean, you name people that I know.
Yeah.
And so I can ask them a little bit deeper in their business.
Mm-hmm.
So, like with Grant Cardone, I'd go up to him and say, hey, Grant, I just want to say thank you, man. I've been following you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan. And I just had a question, like, what do you think of what's happening with the multi-unit? Are you seeing a big hit?
Yeah.
How do I capitalize on all these multi-unit buildings that are going into default?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how would I negotiate? Now, that could be low level, but at least it's something that a little bit pertains to him.
Yeah.
So that's how I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know who they are and they're just a big name brand, sometimes the best thing is just to say that. Like, you're not going to be buddy-buddy with him.
For sure.
Okay? So, what questions do you have? Just shoot your shot. Ask it. Don't just ask a question to ask a question.
Yeah.
Like ask something that's really going to bring value to you.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's a question and it can be simple too. Like, and I know right now we kind of said go a little bit deeper, but for the younger audience out there, if it is that something that you want to, like, hey, what's that one thing that I can do today to be successful? And that's the best question you could formulate, go do it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, hopefully he'll kind of remember that question. And then if you ever see him again, and by then you'll probably have advanced in your life, advanced in your career. But hey, man, I just want to let you know, I asked you that question. Yeah. You answered it this way.
Yeah.
And I implemented it.
For sure.
So it's like a multi-step thing.
For sure. I think that is great advice. I think that's great advice. I think you just saying the part where you say, hey, Grant, hey, X, I just want to say thank you. I've been following you and I appreciate it. Like, sometimes that's just enough, just to get them to remember your face. I don't know about you, but some people come to you and like, hey, like, thank you. Do you remember their faces just because they're like,
I'm bad with faces and names. I'll be honest with you. Unless I follow you back on Instagram. Then I'm very good with names and faces. But I'm so good with just the tag.
Yeah.
Like whatever their Instagram name is, not their real name. So if your real name isn't in it, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what's your name again?
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Yeah.
But I know you as your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing though. So like real life, real tip. Ryan Pineda.
Mm-hmm.
It was his event, right?
Yes.
I actually went up to him and I talked with him.
Mm-hmm.
But how I left the lasting impression, number one, I spent the best ticket.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he knows that I'm a spender in his organization.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in his top coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this requires money, but I'm in their top coaching program. I go to all the events. I buy the best tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But then also I ask some questions that, like I said, pertain to what I need answered.
Yeah.
So in this last event, I came to him with one question and I got it answered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because he actually just launched a podcast and kind of talked a little bit about it, but I was able to go deeper.
Yeah.
How do you structure your partnerships?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because and I brought him in and said, look, here's how I'm kind of doing mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you kind of doing yours? If that's okay, if you want to share that. And he was an open book. He goes, he didn't go into the exact percentage because that's personal, but he said, look, sometimes they get an affiliate, sometimes they get a salary, sometimes they get profit sharing, sometimes they get X. But he goes, but I don't give up equity in at least for the wealthy, his education business.
Okay.
So, but I bet you he'll remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. A little bit more than.
Yeah, it's good questions. Good questions. And I know for all these high level people, whether you're just saying thanks or you're trying to provide value, if it's just genuine, I think it always comes off the right way, right? And at the end of the day, they're helping, and that's what they're there for. So I don't think you should ever be scared to shoot your shot or say that. But one thing I do want to add is, guys, like if you ever are in that situation, try your best just to be cool, man. Don't be a
don't be a creep.
Don't be a weirdie. Don't be a weirdie, man. Like, I know you guys want to, scream and shriek and, I don't know, like, do something weird, but just try to be cool. They're just humans at the end of the day. They probably get a million people, fangirling over them or whatever you want to call it. It was so funny.
Actually, at the event, this girl was so afraid to approach Ryan.
Yeah.
That she hid on the corner. Behind him. I'm like, he just had finished. It was at the bar.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go mingle with some other people. And I looked at her. I said, did you want to talk to him? She goes, yeah, I just didn't know when's the right time, and I didn't want to cut anybody off. I'm like, if you do that, if you go with that mentality, you're never it's his event. Everybody's trying to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I grabbed her and I was like, here, just stand here next to him. And then I said, yep, there you go.
Yeah.
And then I left, and hopefully she got to ask him some stuff. But
for sure. I mean, just hit him with the, hey, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to introduce myself. My name is PJ Padua. I support you, and I appreciate everything. That's it. And hopefully you get a conversation.
And then you can chime in.
Yeah.
So be known. Don't just stand there all quiet and stuff. Like, you'll never get your chance. You'll never get to speak. So sometimes you do have to kind of butt in at the right time. Yeah. But don't just hijack the conversation. Don't do that. All right. Just introduce yourself like exactly what you said, and then just shut up and let the conversation kind of flow.
For sure.
All right. Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. I didn't give you guys any real technical advice. It's just some things that we see, some things that we've experienced, especially coming back from a big event. So if you guys liked what you guys heard, do me a favor, give us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you guys. Hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
For sure. Peace out, guys. Peace.